right. Thank you. Mr. Bradley, are you ready? All right, we're going to call our meeting to order. Welcome to our meeting of Tuesday, April 28, 2026, a regular board meeting. We have remote participation from Sacramento by Councilmember Spataroto. Recall that under those circumstances, we have to have votes, roll call votes on all items, I believe. And so, all right, we'll do the roll call now. Mr. Bradley.
Councilmember Spataroto.
Here.
Councilmember Barrick.
Here.
Vice Mayor Deasy.
Here.
Mayor Doring.
Here.
And Councilmember Summers is absent.
All right, thank you for that. And please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
To the flag
United States
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, we are now on to item 4 of our agenda, adoption of the agenda. Ms. Bradley, are there any changes to note?
There are none.
No changes to note. I'll look for a motion and a second, and then a roll call, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Ms. Bradley, there's a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as is. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barrick.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deasy.
Yes.
Councilmember Spataroto.
Yes.
Mayor Doring.
Yes. On to item 5, of approval of the minutes. These are from our regular city council meeting of April 14th, 2026. Any changes, corrections to note from either my colleagues or Mr. Bradley?
Nope.
All right, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from April 14.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 14th.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Barrick.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deasy.
Yes.
And Councilmember Spataroto.
Yes.
Mayor Doring.
Yes. All right, that motion is approved. On to public forum. Members of the public are entitled to speak on matters of municipal concern not on the agenda during public forum. Each person's comment should be limited to 4 minutes. Each person is entitled to speak on any non-agendized item only once at any meeting. Brief questions by council members for clarifications may be posed and answered, and council members may make requests that items be placed on future agendas. But in accordance with state law, no substantive discussion or action may take place unless and until the matter properly appears on the agenda. Anyone wishing to comment tonight to your city council? All right, that was an opening of public comment. I'll close public comment, bring it back to my colleagues. Anything to add here for a future agenda item? I'll note that there was a public comment received by Michelle Covell. All right, moving right along, we're on to item 7, reports by staff, city council, future agenda items, and AB 1234 reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. A couple things. One, just want to congratulate everyone on a very fun and festive sesquicentennial parade. Practice that a little bit. Particularly our Parks and Recreation staff, Ashley Sylvester and John Sorensen did a great job in organizing things. And then our Public Works, Police Department, Fire, and tons of volunteers really came out and made the thing super fun and very safe. I attended my first lobster feed. Fantastic. And I tell everybody it was quite something. So it was really good. I want to alert the council and the public about our budget update. As you know, the city adopts a 2-year budget. So we have a budget for our current fiscal year. We also have an adopted budget for the upcoming fiscal year. We will be bringing to the council a discussion item for discussion and direction, ultimately some action on minor amendments to that second-year budget. Since we have the budget already in an approved form, and given the transition that we've experienced, as well as some vacations that are already on the books, we'll be bringing that to the council in July, first part of July, for discussion, introduction, and then bring it back to you at a subsequent meeting for adoption of any amendments. So we'll let the public know about that, but we do have a budget already in place for next fiscal year. That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCann, and welcome to your position as the interim manager. I'm not sure if you've sat as an interim manager here? Okay. I'm losing track of all the moving pieces in our city, but welcome and thank you for that report. I agree. I'd like to say thank you to all those who participated in the parade. In addition to the folks that Jim mentioned, I also want to thank the organizers of the Sesquicentennial, Jean Marie Wolf and Caroline Palmisano, also the judges who participated. We had esteemed judges, retired Judge Diane Price, retired Judge Scott Snowden, humble lawyer Paul Doring, and Brent Rondell. And I'll leave it at that. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for all those who made, I guess, their entries into the parade, the floats, the trucks, all the different nonprofits who participated. Joe drove. Thank you, Joe, and your staff, Public Works. Yeah, that was a great event. Enjoyed it very much. So thank you. Yes.
And I just wanted to mention one other thing, significant. We have a new leader of our police department. Long-serving Lieutenant Justin Tharp will fill in the interim police chief capacity. He and I have had a chance to talk a bit over the last few weeks, and last week he agreed to step up for that. So, Justin, you want to come up and receive a congratulations and maybe say a few words?
Yeah, I look forward to helping the city through this transition, and I also look forward to finding a more permanent solution. And other than that, I'm ready to get to work.
Welcome. Thank you. I really appreciate you stepping forward to take on this task, and we're looking forward to working with you. And I feel confident that, as the press release stated, that you know our system, you know our community, you know the police department well, the operations well, and so I feel very confident that you'll be able to do a good job and reach out to anyone if you need anything from us.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. All right. All right. Anything else from my colleagues here on this matter? Okay, we don't have any presentations and public recognitions under item 8. I'm not sure we have anything under item 9. I'll look to you, Mr. McCann. Staff briefing and presentations. If there aren't any reports, let me know. And
I don't think we have
not
any
a whole
this
lot of
evening.
staff here tonight.
Nope.
Any other? I do have one. Yeah. I'm going to go to the city attorney first, and then we had a closed session. We may have had prior closed sessions. I don't recall, but you want to report out on closed session, and then I'll go to you, Mr. Leach. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I think it was just the one that we had immediately prior to this meeting. We had a closed session on existing litigation that was filed against the city by the St. Helena Neighborhood Association, and the city council gave unanimous direction to the city attorney to respond to that lawsuit. That's all I have to report.
All right. Now, Mr. Leach, had anything to add to the mix here?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to announce, a week from today, on Cinco de Mayo, we do have a special council meeting for the adoption of the streets master plan. And I believe that meeting is at 4 o'clock. Thank you. 4 fingers were being presented. 4 o'clock.
Where will that be?
In this very room.
In this very room? You may have said that, and I just missed it. Okay.
Could be.
And that's going to be, what, about 7 hours?
I think we're bound by
That's
time
all?
because there's a planning commission
All right.
afterwards.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on to item 10, I think. Is that correct, Mr. Bradley? We've done all that work. We're on to the consent calendar. Members of the council or the public present at the meeting may ask that any items be considered individually for purposes of considering alternative action for extended discussion or for public comment. Unless that is done, one motion may be used to adopt all recommended actions. Look to my colleagues first to see if we have a need for a deeper discussion on any of the items. Seeing none, anyone from the public wishing to pull an item? I don't see anyone wishing to do that. I'll look for a motion then to adopt the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion and a second. Councilmembers Barrick and Vice Mayor Deasy are going to be busy tonight making motions. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barrick,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deasy,
Yes.
Councilmember Spoterato,
Yes.
and Mayor Doing.
Yes. All right. Oops. All right. Doesn't look like there's any public hearings tonight. There's no old business, so we'll move past those. We're on to, I need to slow down a little bit. We're on to item 13, Mr. McCann. New business, new business, water treatment plant condition assessment report acceptance. Mr. McCann, you want to introduce the item and the staff member, please?
Sure. In fact, pretty much the entire meeting tonight has been a Public Works fest. So thank you, Joe, for not pulling anything off the consent calendar. But this is a wonderful presentation about the condition at our water treatment plant. If you've had a chance to review the staff report, it's chock full of information. Good news, some not so good news, but a lot of information that provides the status of the facility and a number of recommendations for some immediate and longer-term action that will guide us as we look at decisions. Our Public Works Director and our consultants have done a very good job and a very thorough report, so I'll let Joe take it from here and tell us all about the water treatment plant.
Thank you, Jim, Mr. Mayor, and council members. Good evening. I do want to also acknowledge Bruce Zahani is our project manager who has assisted me with getting this project across the finish line. Also present is Andy Smith with West Yost Associates. Andy was the project manager that led a team of both on-site as well as evaluation of all the above-ground assets related to the water treatment plant. Again, it's just the water treatment plant. It's not distribution system. It's not wastewater. It's not any of the off-site facilities. So just related to the water treatment plant. So we'll dive into the presentation. Next slide, please. So kind of the purpose, it's really kind of evaluating what the condition is at the water treatment plant, identifying risks and vulnerabilities. If some component of the process or the system fails, what impact does that have on us being able to make water? Prioritize improvements, and as you can see in the report, it kind of provides short, medium, and long-term recommendations, and then is ultimately being ensured long-term, safe, reliable drinking water that's coming out of the Louis Strahler water treatment plant. Next slide, please. And overall, it's the kind of the report card, as Mr. McCann had noted, it's mostly good to fair. And it's acknowledging that it's an old facility. I mean, it's 30 to 45 years old. Much of the equipment is beyond its useful life, and that's kind of noted as well. And that depending on the risk assessment associated with that piece of equipment, it could fall into the immediate need. Or if it's a lower risk and still may have 5 to 8 years left, then it might go to intermediate or future. And then we're also realizing that there's increasing in maintenance cost. And those who have been following the Wastewater Advisory Committee, one of the items that we're adding to that committee at the behest of Vice Mayor Deasy and others is a monthly maintenance update. It's not unlike what we do at the Parks and Recreation Commission, but one of our staff will be present to kind of give, these are the things that we've been dealing with in both triage and preventative maintenance or reactive maintenance primarily at the water treatment plant, but also involved with the entire water distribution system. Next slide, please. So really the key issues that were identified is aging electrical and mechanical systems, deteriorating chemical storage. Back to the aging electrical and mechanical systems, those are kind of predominant. What the Motor Control Center, MCC, is kind of used as an abbreviation in the report. Those were kind of original equipment, and so they're done. They're ready to give up their ghosts and maybe go into the St. Helena Infrastructure Museum, which I have a few relics in my office. So between that, deteriorating chemical storage, outdated SCADA controls, you have authorized us to move forward with a SCADA preliminary design. It's not only including for the water treatment plant, but also for the entire system. And so Bruce is also involved in that project, as well as seismic and structural deficiencies related to some of the systems there. Next slide. As we move on to some of the key findings, especially as it relates to water quality, the total organic carbon removal does meet standards, but we've also known that there's turbidity inconsistencies. Those have been documented through a variety of forums. It kind of came out in the water table forum that we had at the library several weeks ago. Occasionally, there's the disinfection byproducts exceedances, and that's related to organics reacting to chlorine within the system. Mr. Najim at the Water Table Forum kind of talked about how we've reintroduced chlorine in advance of filters, and that seems to kind of help with the production of DBPs. So that's something that we've reinstated in our process and coordinated with the Division of Drinking Water on. But overall, there's a need for treatment optimization, and I think since this report was conducted, it spanned about a year and a half. Andy, you can correct me. But in that year and a half time, we brought on Mr. Najim with water quality technical specialist, now Hazen Sawyer, and he has worked pretty closely with staff in terms of kind of fine-tuning the treatment process in ways that helps us meet or exceed water quality standards, and really helping with the dealing with the ferric and the iron and manganese that seems to have been coming into our system. And with that, we'll move on to the next slide. I had mentioned about part of the risk assessment, and really that's a process that West Yost went through to kind of evaluate the age of assets and its risk for failure and impact on the system. And so it was broken down to 229 assets that they evaluated between pumps of various sizes and filters and such, as well as concrete structures. And so the highest risk areas were filtration, chemical systems, and storage, and then the pump station itself. You'll remember that the pump station was part of emergency repairs that were conducted in '24, where we believed at the time that the buildup of debris in the clear well was contributing to debris in the distribution system and discolored water. Next slide, please. And so when they went through the process of kind of putting all the data into the magical box of risk assessment, there's a methodology to that that's not really that magical, they found that the SCADA modernization and cybersecurity really needs to be done within the next 5 years, and we are doing that project presently. Pretreatment and filtration optimization, part of the pretreatment, and adding chlorine in advance of filters is part of that, but there's more work that can be done. Replacing one of the motor control centers that's critical to the operation, and then as well as providing mixing in and ventilation in the storage tank at the facility itself. Next slide. Near term, and that's in the 6 to 10 years, and that's replacing another motor control center there, as well as some additional structural and seismic upgrades, chemical storage upgrades, and a replacement of pretreatment equipment. At this point, I kind of want to pause and just acknowledge that what's been provided in the staff report as the executive summary is really high level. The report itself is about 300 some odd pages. And as we presented to the Water and Wastewater Advisory Committee, the reason why we're not kind of disclosing the entire report is really from a Homeland Security perspective and making sure that the details of our process and things that have vulnerabilities are not disclosed to potentially bad actors in nefarious settings. So if anyone is interested in viewing the report, they can make an appointment through Rebecca White in our office and come and look at 300 some odd pages of information. And kind of it goes from soup to nuts and as to the process that both West Yost and staff went through in evaluating the systems there. Next slide, please. And then long-term improvements from 11 to 15 years, it's really rehabilitating the chemical building, upgrading some of the mixing systems, replacing pumps, as well as yet a third motor control center. And then there's a variety of miscellaneous system improvements that are kind of various costs and complexities. And then we kind of get down into the nitty-gritty of costs. Short term is the 1.8 million, near is the 4.7, and then longer term between 11 and 15 years, it's 2.7. And these costs have been escalated for delivery time. So I believe they used, Andy, you can correct me, I think it's either a 3 or 4% inflation factor associated with projecting those costs out, for a total of about $9.2 million in investment needed over the next 15 years. And then finally, the key takeaways is the facility is aging but functional. There are some critical systems that are at risk, and they're in the 0 to 5 time frame. We acknowledge that there's a phased investment approach that's recommended, as well as there's opportunity to really ensure long-term reliability and compliance through the phased approach. And with that, between Bruce, and Andy, we'll field any questions you might have. Yes, sir. Mr. Barrett.
For the financial plan, there, look great. Is it wrong to assume that our existing rate structure will cover that? Or could this be a harbinger of potentially increased rates down the road for residents?
Great question. So there is a capital improvement program, a project that is called Water Treatment Plant, I think miscellaneous upgrades, if I remember correctly. And it's got, we did a placeholder budget of about $6 million. And so that is built into what is anticipated to be part of the bond structure, one of the projects funded through bonding.
Is that Measure H are you referring to, or a different bond?
No, it's water bonds.
Water bonds.
Yes. So the short answer is that some or most of these improvements could be financed through the current rate structure and through the issuance of bonds.
Good question. I had a similar question. Other questions? I'm looking over here. Any questions from you, Councilmember Spadaro? I didn't want to ignore you.
No, you kind of answered, well, yeah, I guess, Joe, you kind of answered my question. My only other part of that might be, is there any potential opportunity to look for money from grants or anything like that that we might be able to use in the future?
Always.
Yes. So one of the things that we are doing is you may or may not remember the SCADA and microgrid project. That's we were awarded $900,000 through Congressman Thompson's efforts. So that's going to install a solar array, battery backups, and then also update our SCADA system so that the microgrid can talk to the operations and optimize the use of electricity. So that's something that we did a couple years ago that we're in the process of delivering. But yes, I mean, we're constantly on the lookout for grants and those types of things, especially related to water infrastructure.
And then, Mr. Mayor, if I can just
Yes, please.
ask, Joe, I think Councilmember Barrick was asking that the breadth of those capital improvements, whether they would be covered in our existing utility structure. And I think what you're saying is that there's a portion of them that will be funded through bond proceeds, and those bond proceeds, or that bond, would be supported by the revenue that we derive from the water enterprise, but not all of them, because some of them that are in the future are not yet designed, not yet fully contemplated, nor are they included within the revenue that would come from our existing structure. So to support those in future, we would have to find additional revenue, which may come from the water enterprise and utility rates, or from other sources.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Thanks for clarifying.
Very good observation and clarification. Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. I had one thing that stood out to me was the replacement of the MCC 2C and the critical valve. operators. So are those not their own CIP yet? They're a part of the, I guess, the 6 million. And how, like, are we thinking like, let's do that sooner than later, or is there not so much urgency?
So I think the short answer, or the answer would be, is when we put the placeholder for the water treatment plant upgrades, it was before West Joseph completed the study. So now that we may end up doing is breaking out that 6 million and change to sub-projects, or taking that and reallocating it to various projects so we can track the expenditures and then capitalize those assets. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Well, I'm wondering, it just looked like the MCC2C is a critical piece of equipment.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering how we're thinking about, well, maybe we should replace it before something happens and it costs more to replace it. I'm just wondering how staff is thinking about that one.
I think we're thinking along the same lines. Yeah, the things that between the 0 and 5, and I think that the MCC2C, yeah, that's part of the 0 to 5.
Yeah.
So that would be the kind of thing we would start looking at into fiscal year 27 and start developing a strategy to replace. Good question, thank you.
Mr. Leach, refresh my recollection about the condition or the circumstances, the current state of Tank 1, and why there's an evaluation and why we're focusing in on Tank 1.
So there's 2 tanks up there. I believe one is Tank 1 and the other is Tank 1A. Tank 1 has been inactive for, I'm unclear of how many years. Predates my tenure, so I think it was maybe taken offline with one of the fires. And I don't believe it was part of the condition assessment. Andy, if you could speak to that.
Yeah,
In the
hopefully
near
folks
term,
can
it's
see
an
me.
evaluation of returning Tank 1 to service, and I wanted to know what prompted that.
Oh, very good.
You're
Thank
right,
you.
it is the fire situation.
So first of all, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Nice to be with you. With respect to Tank 1A, we really just conducted, a visual assessment and a review of some of the original design documents that we could access for that tank. So, there was no entry into a confined space to look at that. I think the reason we were examining that was really just trying to provide the city with some options for understanding that if in the future it made sense to bring that tank online, you would have a better kind of starting point for understanding if there were issues that needed to be corrected, seismic, coatings, or otherwise. For Tank 1A, we also did a, exterior visual condition assessment of that facility, which is in operation. And the recommendations for that tank were a little bit different. They were focused more on the potential measures that could be taken to perhaps ease some of the disinfection byproduct formation and accumulation risks that are present in the system. I'm not sure if that answers the question directly, so
It does.
happy to follow
It
up.
does. I was just wondering what was prompting an evaluation at this point. It's prudent. It sounds like it's prudent to look at all of our options, including that tank. So that makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
All right. So what are next steps from here on out? We have a CIP already. We have a lot of parts moving forward anyway. Anything else that the staff is looking at in terms of, I hate to say short term. I mean, I'm almost wanting to jump ahead to the next term after short term, and I things come upon us quickly, 0 to 5 years, and all of a sudden, boom, here we are into the near term.
Yeah, I think,
Thoughts on that, Mr.
Mr. Mayor, the purpose really is education, sharing information. We've got a good, thorough assessment of this facility, and you can see that there's a fair amount of work that needs to be done, just in maintenance, but also in replacement and repair. And so it's to educate you about what we're doing. That should provide more information, so as we move forward with capital improvement projects, you'll have greater knowledge about this particular facility. You'll see how it fits in. Also, I think it shows just the limited infrastructure that we have and the great reliance that we have on it, and so the need for improvement. Then also the substantial amount of money that it takes to make these improvements, both these short-term ones and then the longer-term ones. And so, not to be a downer, but you see that there's more to come down the road. We'll get this stuff fixed, and then we'll have some more stuff to fix. And we just need to stay on top of it. And the fixes are way less expensive and way easier to do than emergency repairs when things go snap. And so we want to prevent snap.
All right, I agree. SNAP is not good.
No snap.
Unless it's a food benefit, then it is a good thing. Yeah, it is a good thing. All right, any other questions or comments? We're receiving the report. Nothing else needed to be done? No direction at this point?
Correct.
All right. Okay, so, well, I'll open it to public comment if I didn't already. Close public comment. I don't see anything there. And we'll move on to city council reports. Any reports from my colleagues, from any of your regional obligations? Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I've been continuing to attend the Climate Action Committee meeting, and the RCAP is still going through the process, but we're at the stage of budgeting for next year, and so there was a lot of discussion around different cities budgeting for doing an implementation plan. There's an opportunity to sort of go in with the county on our own implementation plan, but making use of that consultant. So just something to maybe be on everyone's radar that will happen. There was some concern about putting the cart before the horse because the RCAP is not yet approved, but I guess there's an assumption that it could well be approved, and then there will be implementation to think about.
Okay. Thank you for your service there. Anything else from my colleagues? Nothing from me. I don't know if I actually mentioned that I may have slipped over Judge Brent Randall I may have missed, did I say his name? I was focused on all the lawyers and retired lawyers. Like, oh, okay. Brent Randall was also a judge. Want to make sure I got that out there. Thank you, Brent. Okay, so looks like we're going to be adjourning to our special city council meeting on May 5th, 2026 at 4 p.m. to discuss the streets master plan. Then we'll have our regular city council meeting on May 12th here at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Find joy in your life.
Thank you.